I didn't expect that night to change everything. The rain outside hit the windows like a warning. Cold, chirp, relentless. I stood in the hallway of our apartment building, soaked to the skin, my fingers trembling as I fumbled for the key. My breath was shaky. My eyes burned. I had just walked away from a relationship I thought would last forever. He told me I wasn't enough. Not soft enough. Not quiet enough. Not the kind of guy he could introduce to his parents. So I walked out in the rain. I didn't even grab an umbrella. I just left. And now here I was, dripping on the welcome mat, trying not to fall apart. The door opened before I even unlocked it. Jisoo stood there, tall, shirtless, with messy black hair falling over his eyes. His sweatpants hung low on his hips. He leaned against the doorframe like he hadn't just caught me with tears running down my face and rain soaking through my clothes. "You good?" he asked casually. I swallowed hard. "Yeah, just wet." He raised an eyebrow. "No kidding." Then, after a beat, he stepped aside. "Come in before you drown." The warm air inside hit me like a hug I didn't ask for. I slipped out of my shoes, avoiding his eyes. He grabbed a towel from the back of the couch and threw it over my shoulders. "You're shaking," he said. "I'm fine." "No, you're not." His voice was low, steady. Not soft, not cold, just real. And that's what hurt the most. Jisoo was always real. And I had always been pretending I didn't feel anything around him, pretending my heart didn't skip whenever he walked around shirtless, pretending I didn't dream about him when my ex was lying next to me. I started walking toward my room, but his voice stopped me. "Don't go in there." I turned. "Why not?" He nodded toward the living room. "Sleep here tonight. On the couch. You look like you need company." My lips twitched. "You offering to cuddle me, Jisoo?" He smirked. "Don't flatter yourself." But 10 minutes later, after I changed into dry clothes and came back to the living room, he was already lying there, stretched out across the couch, arm behind his head, eyes closed like he was trying not to care. I stood awkwardly near the coffee table. "There's no space." "There is if you stop being dramatic," he said, not opening his eyes. I lay beside him, awkward and tense. The couch was too small. Our legs touched. Then our arms. Then I shifted and my back pressed against his chest. That's when his hand moved. He placed it gently on my waist. Not low. Not suggestive. Just enough to feel his warmth. My skin lit up under his touch. "Are you really okay?" he whispered near my neck. "No," I admitted. "I feel like a joke." His hand tightened. "You're not." I turned to face him. Our noses nearly touched. His face was unreadable. Eyes dark. Lips parted slightly. His breath smelled like cinnamon gum and something sweeter, like heat. "Why do you care?" I asked. He blinked. "Shouldn't I? You never cared before." He held my gaze for a long moment. "That's not true." The silence between us pulsed. The air grew heavy. I could hear the rain tapping the glass. The hum of the fridge in the background. And my own heart, racing louder than ever. "Jisoo," I whispered. He leaned in just a little. "Don't say anything else unless you want me to kiss you." I froze. Because I did. But I was terrified. He saw it in my eyes. He started to pull back. "Forget it." "No," I said quickly, grabbing his wrist. I didn't expect this." He stared at my lips. Neither did I. And then he kissed me. Not gently. Not hesitantly. It was hungry. Desperate. Our mouths crashed like a storm. Like all the tension we buried in awkward silences and stolen glances finally broke free. He rolled on top of me, lips exploring mine like he'd waited forever. His hand moved under my shirt, tracing my stomach, but stopping before going further. I moaned into his mouth. He pulled back slightly, eyes burning. "You're sure?" he asked. I nodded. He kissed my throat, my jaw, my ear. "Say it." "I want this," I breathed. He grinned, that wicked boyish grin that made my knees weak. "Then hold on." But just as he started unbuttoning my shirt, his phone buzzed. He paused, annoyed, reaching behind him. He looked at the screen, and his face changed. He sat up fast. "What is it?" I asked, confused. He turned the screen toward me. A name I didn't expect to see. Jisoo stood, grabbing a hoodie off the armrest. He's outside. What? He texted, I'm downstairs. IF asterisk get up. My heart dropped into my stomach. The doorbell rang. Jisoo looked at me, jaw tight. What do you want to do? I was silent. My body still buzzed from his kiss. But my mind was spinning. Do you want me to send him away? He asked. I hesitated. And in that pause, the bell rang again. Jisoo turned to leave, but I grabbed his hand. Wait. He stopped. Looked at me. Our eyes locked. Then I said what even I didn't expect to say. Let him in. He frowned. You sure? I nodded. I want to see something. Jisoo opened the door. Jin stood there, wet from the rain, eyes full of regret. His voice cracked. Can we talk? Jisoo looked at me. I stepped forward, looked Jin dead in the eye and said, You're too late. Then I turned back to Jisoo, grabbed the front of his hoodie, and kissed him, full, deep, hungry, right there in front of my ex. Jin stood frozen. I pulled away and whispered to Jisoo, loud enough for Jin to hear. I'm done crying. I want to feel something real. Jisoo's eyes lit up, and for the first time I saw it. He didn't just want me. He'd been waiting for me. And as he shut the door in Jin's face, locking it behind him, I realized. This wasn't just a rebound. This was the beginning of something dangerous. Something thrilling. Something that would ruin us both, and I wanted it more than anything. He slammed the door shut. The sound echoed like a final decision. Jin was gone. And I wasn't going to chase after him. I turned to Jisoo, still catching my breath from what had just happened. My heart was beating too fast. My lips were still tingling from that kiss. And he was staring at me like he didn't know whether to pull me close or push me against the wall. What did you just do? He asked, voice low. I chose, I said quietly. His gaze dropped to my lips. You sure about that? I kissed you, didn't I? You kissed me to prove a point, he said. Not because you want me. I stepped closer. Do you always talk this much when someone's begging for you? He didn't answer. Instead, he grabbed me by the waist and spun me, pressing my back against the wall. His breath was hot on my neck. Say it again, he whispered. That I want you? I asked, my voice shaking. No. That you're begging. I laughed breathlessly. You're cocky. You're hard, he shot back, smirking as he pressed his thigh between mine. I gasped at the contact. My whole body flinched, craving more. I've wanted this for months, I confessed, finally letting the truth slip through my lips. Even when I was with him. His eyes darkened. You taste better than I imagined, he said, licking my bottom lip. And I'm not even done with the appetizer. He kissed me again, harder this time. No hesitation. No holding back. He kissed like he was starving, like he was afraid I might disappear if he didn't devour me fast enough. Our bodies pressed tighter. My hands tangled in his hair, tugging. He groaned low in his throat, and the sound alone sent a shiver down my spine. He lifted me, literally picked me up, and carried me across the living room. I wrapped my legs around him without even thinking. We collapsed on the couch in a tangle of limbs. He hovered above me, staring down with eyes that burned. You drive me crazy, he muttered. I thought you didn't even like me. I didn't, he said. Not until I saw you fall apart and realized no one else knew how to put you back together. The room grew still. I stared up at him, stunned. That wasn't just lust talking. That was real. That was dangerous. But then his mouth was back on mine, and my thoughts scattered like paper in a storm. His tongue slid against mine, hot and slick and demanding. My shirt was gone before I even noticed. His hands were everywhere. My chest, my ribs, my waist, exploring every inch of me like he was memorizing it. And when his mouth trailed lower, across my collarbone, down my stomach, I arched into him, gasping. Jisoo, I moaned. He didn't stop. He kissed lower and lower and I grabbed his shoulder. He paused and looked up at me. You okay? I took a shaky breath. I've never done this before. Not like this. Not with someone who actually sees me. His face softened. That sharp edge he always had suddenly melted. You think I'm just trying to f***ck you? He asked. Aren't you? He shook his head. I could have done that with anyone. But you, he kissed my inner thigh, so gently I almost cried. You're the one I can't get out of my head. Then his mouth was on me. I cried out, clutching the pillow under my head as his tongue worked its magic. He wasn't just doing it for pleasure. He was focused. Patient. Every lick was deliberate. Every moan he pulled from me felt earned. And then he looked up, lips shiny, eyes wild. You're going to ruin me, he whispered. Keep going, I gasped. He did. He didn't stop until I was shaking, begging, nearly screaming. And even then, he still wasn't done. We collapsed onto the couch again, our bodies sweaty and tangled together. My skin was flushed, heart racing. I couldn't even speak. He lay beside me, one hand stroking my side slowly, the other holding my hand tightly. He didn't say anything. I turned to face him. You're not what I thought, I whispered. I get that a lot. I mean it, I said. You're not just hot or cold or reckless. You're kind. He frowned. Don't say that. Why? Because I'm about to do something very unkind. I blinked. Like what? He kissed me again, slow this time, almost sweet. Then he pulled back and whispered, You're not leaving this couch until I hear you scream my name. And just like that he stood, scooped me up again and carried me to his room. That's when I saw the twist I didn't expect. On the nightstand beside his bed was a small, worn notebook. My name was written on the cover. I froze. What is that? Jisu's expression shifted. It's nothing. But I reached for it, opened it, and what I found inside made my breath hitch. Sketches. Of me. Dozens of them. Sleeping. Laughing. Reading on the couch. A close-up of my lips. Another of my hands. You drew these? He rubbed the back of his neck, suddenly shy. Yeah. I guess I was obsessed before I even knew it. I stared at him. You were watching me all this time? No, he said, walking toward me slowly. I was falling. I just didn't know how deep until now. I dropped the notebook. And what do you want now? He pushed me onto the bed and climbed over me, eyes filled with hunger. I want to find out how deep this goes. Then he kissed me again, deeper this time, like he didn't care if the world burned as long as I was under him. The room was quiet except for our breathing. His sheets were tangled around us. My skin was damp with sweat, my body trembling from everything we'd just done. I couldn't think, couldn't speak. I just lay there on my back, heart racing, staring at the ceiling as if it could explain what the hell had just happened. Jisu lay next to me, half on his side, one arm resting over my chest like he was guarding me from the world. His fingers traced lazy circles against my ribs. He didn't speak either. He didn't need to. The silence between us was loud, comfortable, dangerous, because now I had no idea how to go back to the way things were before. I turned my head and looked at him. His dark hair was messy, sticking to his forehead. His lips were slightly swollen. His chest rose and fell with slow, calm breaths. But his eyes weren't calm. They were staring at me like I was the only person who'd ever mattered. You okay? He asked, finally breaking the silence. I nodded slowly. I think so. You think? I swallowed hard. No one's ever touched me like that before. His fingers stilled. Is that a good thing? It's terrifying. He chuckled under his breath. You were moaning like it was heaven. It was, I said honestly. But that's what scares me. He propped himself up on one elbow, staring down at me. Why? Because now I want it again, I whispered. And again. And I don't know what that means. Jisu didn't smile. He didn't make a joke. He leaned down, kissed my chest, and then slowly, gently, slid down the bed. What are you doing? I asked, breath catching in my throat. I told you I'm not done, he murmured. You think one round is enough for the way you looked at me all those nights? My cheeks burned. You saw that? I saw everything, he said, kissing just below my navel. I saw the way you avoided eye contact when I was shirtless. The way you bit your lip when I got too close. The way you tried to act like you hated me just to hide how bad you wanted me. Jisoo. He didn't answer. His lips kept moving lower. My breath hitched. His tongue dragged slowly across the skin of my inner thigh. I was sensitive. Way too sensitive. I trembled under his touch. Wait, I gasped. I can't, it's too much. He lifted his head and smiled softly. Then I'll go slow. His mouth returned to me. So, intentional. He was cleaning up the mess we made. Every lick was patient, almost reverent, like he was worshipping me. Like he wanted to erase any doubt that I was wanted. My hand gripped the sheets. My legs shook. My eyes fluttered shut. Don't close your eyes, he said against my skin. I looked down at him, and the eye contact nearly undid me. Say my name, he whispered. Jisoo, I moaned, barely able to breathe. He hummed, pleased, and continued. I was overstimulated. Every nerve in my body was on fire. But I didn't want him to stop. I didn't want this moment to end. His tongue moved like he knew exactly what I needed. Where to touch, when to pause, how to bring me right to the edge without pushing me over. And then he pulled back. I whimpered, confused, desperate. He climbed back up, lips wet, eyes blazing. You taste like sin, he said, voice hoarse. And I'm starving. He kissed me again, messy, possessive, deep. I tasted myself on his lips and felt something inside me snap. I kissed him back harder, grabbing his face, pulling him on top of me again. And that's when he whispered it. Round 2 starts now. But before he could move, his phone buzzed again. He groaned. Ignore it. But I glanced at the screen. This time, it wasn't Jean. It was a name I didn't recognize, Miho. And the message made my heart stop. You didn't show up. Is he with you now? I sat up, pulse racing. Who's Miho? Jisoo cursed under his breath and grabbed the phone. It's nothing, he said. I stood up, wrapping the blanket around my waist. That doesn't look like nothing. It's complicated. Then uncomplicate it, I snapped. Jisoo rubbed his face. He's someone I used to mess around with. Before you. Before tonight, or before everything? Jisoo looked at me, jaw clenched. It didn't mean anything. Did he know that? Jisoo didn't answer. I felt sick. The high I was riding suddenly crashed. You're still seeing him, aren't you? I said quietly. No, he said. Not like that. I was going to end it. You just didn't think you'd have to. Silence fell. I turned away from him, trying to breathe, trying to calm down. But my heart was already breaking. You think I'm just another one of your hookups? I asked. He came up behind me and wrapped his arms around my waist. No, he said. You're the only one I ever drew. That has to count for something. I looked down at the notebook still lying on the floor. My name. My face. Page after page. Then prove it, I whispered. How? Tell him it's over. Jisoo hesitated. That second of silence told me everything. I stepped out of his arms. I'm not your side piece, I said. I'm not someone you run to when you're bored. He grabbed my wrist. You're not. I swear. Then show me, I said, voice shaking. Or let me go. He stared at me torn. Then, finally, he picked up his phone and called Miho. I didn't even breathe. Hey, Jisoo said into the phone. I can't do this anymore. Don't come over. Don't wait up. I'm done. The pause. Miho's voice sounded faintly through the speaker. Then Jisoo hung up. He turned to me. Now can I kiss you again? I nodded, my throat tight. Yeah. You can. He kissed me, slow, deep, and different. Because this time, it wasn't just lust. This time, it felt like the beginning of something real. He kissed me like I was already his. Not a maybe. Not a question. But a decision. There was nothing soft or unsure about it anymore. His lips moved with certainty. His hands gripped my waist like he was holding on to something he never wanted to lose. I melted into him. My chest against his, my arms wrapped around his neck, my heart pounding like a warning I didn't want to hear. He pulled back, just enough to whisper the words I didn't know I needed until I heard them. Round 2 starts now. A thrill ran down my spine. He picked me up again, effortlessly, like I weighed nothing to him, and maybe I did. Maybe in that moment I was weightless, carried by lust, by need, by the raw electricity between us. He laid me down gently on his bed again. No rush this time. No storm. Just heavy silence and burning stares. The way he looked at me, like I was his favorite sin. Like he'd waited forever to taste me again. He crawled over me slowly, the muscles in his arms flexing with every movement, his eyes locked onto mine. "You still want this?" he asked, voice low. I nodded. "Say it," he whispered, brushing his lips against my jaw. "I want you." He smirked. "Then lie back and let me take my time." His mouth was everywhere. My lips, my neck, my collarbone. Every kiss was slower, deeper, hungrier. His teeth grazed my skin but never hurt. Just enough to leave a memory, a mark. His hands moved with purpose. One on my chest, the other slipping under the blanket, sliding down my thigh. I gasped, my legs parting instinctively, inviting him closer. He kissed the side of my neck and whispered, "You're already shaking. Because I know what you're about to do." He smiled against my skin. "Then hold on." He took his time. This wasn't like the first round. This wasn't fast or desperate. It was slow torture. Pleasure so steady it became unbearable. He kissed and touched me like we had all night. Like there was no clock ticking, no outside world waiting to tear us apart. His fingers moved like he was reading me, learning what made me moan, what made me twitch, what made my back arch off the bed. And when he slid inside me again, slow, deep, with both our breaths tangled in one broken moan, it was different. It wasn't just sex. It was everything. Connection. Obsession. The need to be wanted and the ache to be touched, crashing into each other at once. "Look at me," he said, voice tight. I opened my eyes and stared up at him. Our gazes locked. And in that moment, I didn't feel shy. I didn't feel weak. I felt his. He moved inside me, slow and deep, each thrust dragging a sound out of my throat that didn't sound like me. He held my hips steady, eyes locked on mine, like he wanted to watch every reaction he caused. "You feel like King Heaven," he whispered, his forehead resting against mine. How did I wait this long? I couldn't speak. I could only feel. My nails dug into his back. My legs wrapped around his waist. My body moved with his, meeting every thrust, needing every second of it. He leaned down and kissed me again, this time slower. Tender. Tongue sliding gently against mine, swallowing every moan I made like he needed them to survive. And then his pace changed. Faster. Harder. Deeper. His hips snapped into me with more force now, and my body was barely keeping up. I gasped. I writhed. I lost control. "Say it again," he growled. "Say you want me." "I want you," I moaned. Louder. "I want you." "Say my name." "Jisoo," I cried out. "That's it," he whispered, slamming deeper. "Let them hear it. Let the world know who's inside you." I was shaking, sweating, clutching at him like I'd fall apart if I let go. And when I came undone, I screamed his name so loud I was sure the neighbors heard it. But I didn't care, because I belonged to him in that moment. And he knew it. Afterward, we lay there, tangled up in silence. His arms wrapped around me, my head resting on his chest. Our bodies were sticky with sweat and breathless from pleasure. And still, he didn't let go. His fingers brushed through my hair as I lay there, wondering how everything had changed in one night. "You okay?" he asked again. I smiled tiredly. "You already asked that. And I'll keep asking until I know for sure." "I'm not okay," I said quietly. "I'm better than okay." His chest rose with a soft laugh. "Good." We lay there in silence again. Then he said something I didn't expect. I deleted his number. I looked up at him. "Miho." He nodded. "I don't want him calling me. I don't want anything getting in the way of this." I stared at him for a long moment. "What is this, Jisoo?" He didn't rush to answer. Instead, he pulled me closer. This is the part where I ask you to stay in my bed again tomorrow, he said. And the night after that. And maybe forever. My heart stuttered. You're serious? He looked down at me, eyes full of something terrifying and beautiful. I've never been more serious in my life.